Thank you. Hello to you. Coming up this Monday evening. As the parents of two London teenagers who took their own lives are divided over the government's social media ban, we've been hearing from young people in Enfield.
I see videos on TikTok from people in Australia. Like, the ban didn't necessarily work there.
All we do is sit on our phones and go on social media.
And it's prompted many of you to get in touch with your views, also tonight. As the Grenfell community marks 9 years since the tragedy, bereaved families and survivors tell us the pace of justice is too slow. A new cultural quarter in the capital. We bring you a first look at the £1 billion redevelopment of Olympia. Plus,
Cabo Verde are making history, appearing in their first ever World Cup match. We may be around 3,000 miles away from the island nation, but they've got plenty of support here in East London.
And it's good news if after last week's cooler spell of weather you're after something a little bit warmer, because this week it looks like summer, or at least warmer temperatures are set to return.
a very warm welcome to the programme. We start tonight with the government's social media ban for under 16s. As we've been hearing, from next spring they won't be allowed access to certain platforms, including Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube and Instagram. A move that's broadly been welcomed by many parents and campaigners who say it'll protect young people online. But there's also some scepticism about how workable it will be in practice. Well, two London fathers whose teenage daughters took their own lives after the harmful impact of social media are divided on the ban.
It's a change in the right direction. It will not be easy, but it will be possible. We have like 22 years of non-regulated social media, and it's almost a generation that we lost with this social experiment. So now is the time to do the right change.
I can't imagine why he's rushed this announcement. There was a consultation which would have delivered good evidence on which to base new measures and what steps to take to most effectively protect young people. That consultation closed on, I think, the 26th of May. And if he's playing politics, what he's doing is gambling with young people's lives. And I find that deplorable.
The fathers of Molly Russell and Mia Janin there. Well, it has prompted some of you to get in touch with your views. We can get more reaction generally from our reporter Alpa in the BBC London lounge. Hi Alpa, and I know you've also been speaking to young people too.
Yes, I've been gauging reaction here in London towards this social media ban. And it's fair to say what I've been finding is a bit of a generational divide. Teachers and parents are supportive towards the ban, and children, particularly teenagers, are against the ban. I went to the Oasis Academy in Enfield to speak to 14 and 15-year-olds there. This is an interesting age group because they've grown up with social media and spend on average 3 hours or more a day on it. Here's what they told me.
I see videos on TikTok from people in Australia. Like, the ban didn't necessarily work there. And obviously, we are the youngest generation. We know how to do this stuff. We know technology better than anyone else.
We rely on it a lot. A lot of us just, all we do is sit on our phones and go on social media. So without it, we won't know how to live. We basically can't live without it. We just rely on it a bit too much.
And do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older one.
And so it's going to be interesting in your household when they hit 16 that they'll be able to use it and you won't.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like that's going to be really different because a lot of the way me and my sister socialise is online, because she's out the house a lot. But sometimes if we see a funny video oh, I thought of you, it helps connect.
I think it is needed, especially because younger people are relying on it so much that sometimes we don't use our brain to think because we're like, oh, there's AI that can do it for us. But thinking of it from my perspective, it's also we've grown up on it, we've relied on it. So it's going to be a big change. And if they want to change something like that, they should have alternatives to it. Like youth clubs and making outside safer for younger students.
Yeah, so some interesting thoughts there. Well, the man who founded the charity that runs that school and 56 others across the country is staunchly in favour of the ban. 40,000 children attend the Oasis Academies. So Steve Chalk says he's really had a front row seat when it comes to the damage that social media has done to children. But he also says that tech company and society has a role to play in this.
It is those companies' responsibility. It is the whole of society's responsibility to see that we change this situation for young people. We owe it to our children. I don't think there's one silver bullet. I think that we've got to keep working at this from all sorts of angles if we're going to set our young people free.
Well, you've been getting in touch, as you can imagine, with your thoughts, and we do appreciate them. Evelyn says, I'm homeschooled, don't leave the house. Social media is my only way to contact anyone. Dave says the big tech firms should be held accountable for the content and regulation. And he also says his 14-year-old will be able to get around the ban. V. Williams also got in touch to say that they were astonished at the reaction of children towards the ban, the answers showing damage done to mental well-being. There's little social media get-togethers and friends or family members. It's no wonder their mental health is suffering, they say. And Mike, who is 62, says this is unenforceable unless encryption, including VPNs, are banned, but that will damage business and expose banks to greater risks of cyber attacks, he says. Well, one more thought from you, and that's from the Children's Commissioner, Dame Rachel D'Souza, who says this is a decision that will define childhood. We must listen to young people and put their interests first. So in the coming months will be really, really interesting as we learn more about this ban and how it will be rolled out. Keep your thoughts coming in. We really love hearing from you, and more on our website too.
Thanks very much indeed, Alpa. In other news now, bereaved families, survivors and the local community in North Kensington say the pace of justice and change after Grenfell has been too slow, as yesterday they marked the 9th anniversary of the fire, which claimed the lives of 72 people. There are concerns that hundreds of properties here in the capital still have serious fire safety defects and that evacuation plans for disabled residents still fall short, as Aisha Baksh reports.
9 years on from Grenfell, with no arrests nor prosecutions over what happened, families and survivors are still waiting for justice, including Hamid Al-Jafari, whose father Ali was killed in the fire.
It's kind of like painful, you know, 72 people lost their life 9 years and still we are fighting for justice. And we are living in one of the UK, you know, most important city. And I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't know, disappointing, 9 years.
The Grenfell public inquiry recommendations were aimed at improving fire and housing safety for all.
We were promised the lessons of Grenfell would be learned. Disabled people were promised never again.
However, many are still not yet implemented, and disability groups are concerned new legislation does not go far enough.
It's very important to me to see personal emergency evacuation plans in place for all disabled people. 72 people lost their lives at Grenfell. 15 of those were disabled people, and those deaths were preventable.
The construction industry has also seen major reform post-Grenfell, with a new regulator and stricter rules around building new homes. However, there are still existing buildings with combustible cladding and other fire safety defects across the UK.
Grenfell, the loss of 72 lives, is what happens if government put profit before people. I don't believe the government have grasped that. I believe that they're still listening to housing providers, construction companies. There's a focus on build, baby, build, rather than, you know, delivering justice and change for Grenfell.
Well, this will be the last anniversary with any of Grenfell Tower still visible, but many families, survivors, local people and campaigners say they hope, although Grenfell will be out of sight, going forward, it won't be out of mind.
We have to keep on pushing. We have to keep on breathing on the neck of the police, of the CPS, of the politician. We need changes.
We're going to keep fighting, you know, every day, every month, every year until we get our justice.
Obviously, it's hard. Obviously, we wanted justice much before this, but we just have to keep on fighting and do what we can to keep the 72 remembered.
The government say they're committed to ensure what's happened at Grenfell is not forgotten and never happens again, and have promised £1 billion in cladding remediation. But as the 72 victims of Grenfell are remembered, the fight for long-lasting change and justice remains.
And Aisha is with me now. Where are we on the investigation?
Well, Riz, the Met Police have said that up to 57 individuals and 20 companies could face potential criminal charges over Grenfell. And they're considering offences such as corporate manslaughter, fraud and misconduct in public office. This anniversary, the Met have said they are on track to deliver their case files to the Crown Prosecution Service by September, who in turn will look at their charging decisions. Now, on cladding, the Building Safety Regulator have said that they are trying to speed up the remediation of higher risk properties. But we have the latest figures from the London Fire Brigade that show that across London there are 1,600 buildings with fire safety defects, including things such as combustible balconies. And Endow Cladding Scandal have said there are still many residents trapped in unsafe homes, and they continue to face fear and uncertainty.
OK, Aisha, many thanks for that. Aisha Baksh there. A roundup now of some of the day's other news. 2 men have been found guilty of conspiring to carry out arson attacks on property and a car in Kentish Town connected to Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. The court heard that an anonymous Russian speaker offered Roman Lavrinovich cryptocurrency to get the arson attacks on the news. Police have arrested a man over an incident when a woman was allegedly pushed into the path of a bus on Putney Bridge 9 years ago. CCTV footage at the time shows a jogger appearing to shove the woman into the road. The bus driver's quick thinking meant the woman avoided serious injury. And a man's denied manslaughter after a bus driver attacked on Battersea Bridge died. Gary Jones appeared at Kingston Crown Court by video link today, charged over his death. Sergei Kryev was assaulted while his bus was parked at a stop just after midnight on the 18th of May. London is being honoured in Singapore as one of the world's leading cities, with Mayor Sir Sadiq Khan collecting the international award in person. He's also been defending a campaign to boost London's image overseas and counter what he says is online disinformation about the capital. Our correspondent Suranjana Tawari is in Singapore and sent this report.
With Singapore's skyline as the backdrop, the Mayor of London is here making a direct pitch for the capital and its place in a fast-moving global race for investment, talent and influence. Sir Sadiq Khan is in Singapore for the World City Summit, where policymakers and business leaders are gathering to compare how major cities are handling their development. During the visit, he's launched a new international tourism and investment campaign for London, alongside Singapore's Prime Minister, Lawrence Wong.
This trip is also a trade delegation. I've brought with me a number of leading businesses who work in fintech, who work in cybersecurity. We know that Singapore invests hugely in London, from Paddington to Piccadilly, from Monzo to Heathrow. Metroline buses. Big investment from Singapore. At the same time, we in London invest in Singapore as well. And as long as I'm mayor, I'm going to carry on banging the drum for the greatest city in the world, London.
While here, the mayor will be learning lessons from this small country. Today, Singapore is a major financial hub, and it's made massive investments in public transport, green spaces and clean energy.
And that's all led to rapid development over the years.
In between meetings and visits of tourist sites, the Mayor is also launching a £7 million campaign aimed at countering what he says is disinformation about London that's being spread online.
Social media has been used as a platform by bad state actors, whether that's in China, Russia, or the Make America Great Again actors in the USA. We also know people in this part of the world, in Southeast Asia, Japan, China and elsewhere, sometimes are spreading some of these lies, spreading the misinformation, spreading the disinformation. One is giving the impression that London is overrun by immigrants. Secondly, giving the impression that in London there is some sort of Sharia law, but also giving the impression, thirdly, that London is some dystopian crime place.
The Mayor says the campaign is designed to strengthen London's appeal overseas, but his approach has faced criticism at home.
He's putting millions into looking at online disinformation, and I don't want anonymous trolls, obviously, to make up lies about the city, but the Mayor can't try and suggest that anyone critical of his failure or record of failure is among those ranks. He's just should be at home sorting issues out.
Back in Singapore, the focus is on celebration. For City Hall, this is a chance to showcase London on the world stage, and for the Mayor to make the case that overseas engagement and international recognition are essential to the capital's future growth. Suranjana Tawari, BBC London, Singapore.
A rare whale washed ashore in Essex has now been taken for tests to help determine how it became stranded at Chapman Sands at Canvey Island at the weekend. Experts have identified it as a Sowerby's beaked whale, a rare sight in the Thames estuary. And I should warn you that you may find some of the pictures in Stuart Woodward's report upsetting.
A sad sight to see. Experts say this was a 4-metre-long Sowerby's beaked whale, which washed up here on Saturday. A deep diving whale, adults can reach up to 5.5 metres in length and weigh up to 1,300 kilograms, although this is believed to be a juvenile male.
We get around 700 cetacean strandings a year around the English and Welsh coast, maybe 2 of those are Sowerby's beaked whales, so they're fairly uncommon strandings. Having checked our data set, the last one recorded within the Thames estuary was in 2010 on the North Kent coast on that southern side of the Thames. So certainly for the area, they're really unusual. What I would say is we have had many deep diving species, unfortunately, in the southern parts of the North Sea in the Thames estuary, because when they enter that area, they don't realise they're in a trap, unfortunately, until it's too late and then they're left high and dry. So we're assuming that's what may have happened in this case.
Sowerby's beaked whales typically live in the North Atlantic and the Baltic Sea, hunting squid and small fish. An unusual sight to see on Canvey Island then, causing quite the stir amongst those who came to see it for themselves, despite being advised by the local council to keep their distance. The whale was eventually taken away by the Port of London Authority to an undisclosed location, where experts will take the opportunity to study the carcass.
These species are really hard to study in the wild. They're incredibly unusual, particularly species like these. So a stranding, it's a sad event, but it's an opportunity for us to try and collect as much as we can to learn about their lives.
Investigation work will now take place to try and establish how and why this whale came to wash up on the shore here on Canvey Island, and perhaps to gain a better understanding of the species as well.
Stuart Woodward there. Let's take you to the World Cup now, and Cape Verdeans across the capital are currently watching history being made as their national football team plays in their first ever World Cup match. The island nation off the coast of West Africa is home to around 500,000 people, but there's almost double that number living around the world, and some of those are gathered in East London this evening watching their side play Spain. Our reporter Matt Graveling is with them in clearly and understandably a noisy restaurant.
You know what? If anyone thought Capo Verde were here to make up the numbers, the 48 teams in the World Cup, you can forget about that. They are minutes away, Riz, from making history. This is one of the biggest upsets on the card. 67th ranked Capo Verde are playing former world champions ranked number 2 in the world, Spain. It's 0-0 with minutes to play. This is massive. And the people here, they didn't even really mind the result. They wanted good football, but for them, it's about being at this tournament. It's about what it does for this community. It's very loud in here. Let's talk to some of them. Oh my goodness, it just got louder. Right, Annabella, I know I caught you at probably the worst moment, but just tell me, what is this doing for the community here in London?
To us, this is pride. This is being in the World Cup for the first time for such a small country. We are a little bit more than half a million, but today, Cape Verde is seen by the world. The community is happy because our unity, our faith, everything is represented. They said we had 1% chance, but we have 99% of faith.
Thank you so much, Annabella. I can tell you, Riz, we're in the last 5 minutes of stoppage time here, and it's still 0-0. I'm going to bring in the man, the owner of this place, Elias.
Hi.
First and foremost, food is a big part of, of the culture.
Oh,
You've
yes,
tweaked
we
the menu here.
Oh, yes, we
Tell
did.
me a little bit about what you've got on the menu for people.
This is what we're having today. It's a national food from Cape Verde. It's made of dried corns, beans, and mix of vegetables. This is our chef, co-owner, Kinil Zagrasa, me, myself, Elias Lisboa. It's nice to having these people, Cape Verde, and we're having a great time. Thank you.
That's it. I can tell you just from being here for the last few moments, food, music, dancing, so integral to the culture here. And I'm going to bring in, oh, hello, excuse me. I'm going to bring in Christina. Christina, we spoke before the match. You said, I don't mind about the result. This is all about turning up, being represented. You're a small archipelago off the west coast of Africa, but you're about to draw with Spain. What are your emotions?
As I said to you, I mean, for us, the meaning of Cape Verde, we have a word that is mora beza. That means we welcome the world to our stage too. We welcome the world to our house. For us, doesn't matter if we win or lose, we're representing and we're happy and we are blessed. And that means so much to us as a community.
Thank you very much, Christina. Well, they are on the world stage, but tonight, this is their stage, and they are 3 minutes away from one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history.
So intense, Matt. Thank you. And to everyone there, just casting their eyes away from the match for a moment. Either way, history made. To a new cultural quarter in the capital now, and a first look at the £1 billion redevelopment of Olympia in West London. It's a 140-year-old exhibition venue that has been transformed, as Wendy Hurrell can show us.
Some people have goodness in their bones.
A part of West London closed for 6 years reopens as a cultural quarter.
One of those.
Olympia now has offices, restaurants and a public space nearly 140 years after it first opened. The Victorian exhibition halls have, since 1886, hosted all sorts of niche interests. Dog shows.
Dalmatians are easy to spot, of course.
Cat shows.
The great thing is to make your cat look like the cat's whiskers.
And of course, the ideal home shows.
What's new on the home front?
It's been a circus. We turned into Venice. They flooded the exhibition halls and had gondolas and gondoliers. Some amazing concerts with Jimi Hendrix and The Who. So it's just a rich history. I mean, just last week we had London Tech Week here. We had over 30,000 people come to our exhibition halls from 150 nations. So obviously London's a great place to do business, and this estate is really something that is an icon internationally.
Londoner Thomas Heatherwick, designer of the 2012 Olympic cauldron, came up with the concept for this redevelopment.
The weird thing was, it had stopped being a place for London, really. It felt like the lights were off. Each hall had got built one by one over time, and they had sort of accumulated into this one big mass with a 1 kilometre wall round the outside. The first thought was, how do we actually make a place we can come together? And the quirky thing this gave us was the chance to lift you up and be 3-4 stories up in the air. And we thought, is that weird? Will people come? And then you sort of thought, well, yeah, I think they will. And we heard today that this raised street that we're just looking down on here has got its own postcode now, which is like really exciting.
And West London now has a new 3,800 capacity live music venue.
We felt that there was a bit of a gap
in the market for that size venue, and bringing that to West London as well is a great opportunity, and kind of to this whole wider Olympia campus.
Next year, a theatre will open too, the largest built in half a century. It's a £1.3 billion transformation, and one they hope will make West Kensington a destination. Wendy Hurrell, BBC London.
OK, let's see what's going on with the weather. Here's Kate, and here we are, mid-June. What have you got for us?
Well, it's warming up quite nicely, actually, Riz. If you're rather disappointed with those cooler temperatures we had last week, it's already starting to feel just a little bit warmer. Today, we got up to 22 Celsius. We did have quite a bit of cloud. Now, it's not very easy to spot, but there is a little halo just around the sun there, 22-degree halo, ice crystals around the sun refracts through it. This is a slightly better picture of it out in Twickenham earlier. So perfect conditions with that high cloud. Now, had a few spots of rain earlier, but this is its progression. It's been moving away out towards East Anglia. So some late evening hazy sunny spells, I've got to say, but the cloud is already starting to move back in. Could just get 1 or 2 spots of rain in the cloud overnight, some clearer spells, but it's getting quite warm, not only during the day, during the night time too. Quite humid, quite uncomfortable, 14 to 16 Celsius, so not great for sleeping. And those temperatures are only going to get worse through the night time this week. Now, for tomorrow morning, some sunshine to start, but then the cloud will feed back in, becoming largely overcast. But the temperature, regardless of that, is still getting warmer, 25 Celsius for Tuesday. Then overnight, another front will start to move through. That's going to bring some spells of rain. You can see it here. The cloud increases. Could be quite a wet start to Wednesday morning as that front approaches. So we will see further outbreaks of rain for Wednesday. They will clear through, however, eventually. Some of them could be quite heavy, but fizzling towards the end of the day. Legacy of cloud, but the temperature still up at 25 Celsius. Now, as we head to the remainder of the week, the temperature continues to get warmer. It should be largely dry, but it's not a completely settled week, as I've mentioned. We will start to see fronts moving towards us, but gradually by Friday, the temperature getting up into the high 20s. Nighttime temperatures, central London, perhaps not dropping much below 17 and 30 for Friday.
Gosh, June heat. Kate, thank you. And that is it. More stories on our website, including the London researchers examining microplastics in the Thames, and on our Insta, the flags are back on the London estate, going big again for the World Cup. From all of us on the team, thanks for watching and enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.